Welcome to Warn. Today's headlines are: India's Larsen & Toubro, L&T, and Rosoboronexport export of Russia will discuss a possible joint venture to manufacture air independent propulsion (AIP) system for submarines on the sidelines of the St. Petersburg Economic Forum. A Rosoboronexport statement said today that the two companies will go through technological cooperation projects, top of which is the joint development of an AIP system. The Indian Navy intends to acquire 6 diesel-electric submarines under Project 75I, a follow-on of Project 75 Calvary class submarines. The basic parameters are the AIP to increase endurance and stealth capability, land attack capability, and vertically launched missiles feature to accommodate the BrahMos series. The Indian Navy in October, last year, said it is not looking at including the indigenous AIP system in the last 2 Scorpeni submarines, and it could be added later during retrofit. The project got clearance from the Defence Acquisition Council for construction in Indian shipyards in October 2014. INR 53,000 crore, $8 billion, was allocated for the acquisition of the attack submarines. Initially, the Navy was looking at fitting at least 2 of the 6 Scorpeni submarines, Project 75, with the system. Later, officials had said they expected to fit the system in at least the last of the boats as the program got delayed. The Defense Research Development Organization, DRDO, is also in the process of developing AIP technology for future Indian-built submarines. The world has increasingly become interconnected and interdependent, a transformation that has made it necessary for India and China to cooperate on trade and investments despite a simmering border dispute, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Friday. It is true that we have a border dispute with China. But in the last 40 years, not a single bullet has been fired because of it, Modi said during a panel discussion at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. He shared the stage with Russian President Vladimir Putin and the leaders of Austria and Moldova. Modi was responding to a question whether India's opposition to China's One Belt One Road project reflects deep discord in their relationship. India had boycotted a high-profile conference recently hosted by China on the project, citing sovereignty issues since it passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The strategically important Bhupen Hazarika Bridge in Assam that evoked sharp reaction from China after it was opened by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on May 26 is reportedly under threat. Confirming the threat perception, Assam Police Additional Director General of Police, Special Branch, Pallab Bhattacharya, said, "Recently we have received open-source intelligence input suggesting threats to the bridge. Being an interstate bridge, its significance is huge." He added that deployment on the bridge has been increased for securing the bridge. A source said that discussions with Center are on for handing over the security of the bridge to the CISF. The 9.15 kilometers long bridge, the country's longest, can take Indian troops with heavy artillery right up to China's doorstep in its southern boundary with India in Arunachal Pradesh in the shortest possible time. China, on May 28, asked India to be cautious and exercise restraint over building infrastructure in Arunachal Pradesh, the Indian state which Beijing claims to be its own. Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL, is looking to ink a contract by end 2018 for 7 more long-range surface-to-air missile LRSAM systems as part of the Navy's P-17A stealth frigate program. The defense electronics manufacturer has already signed a contract for the first 4 systems. Since the process of procurement has already been flagged off by the Navy, BEL expects to sign a contract for the next 7 systems soon. An announcement in this regard was made by the company on Wednesday. The missile system is a joint development with Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, and DRDO. It includes a track and guidance radar, MFSTAR, multifunction surveillance, launchers and missiles with advanced radio frequency seekers. BEL had teamed up with IAI for the missile project and signed a memorandum of understanding in December 2012 for ship defense systems. The 1st Regiment of 18 Danish artillery guns, the indigenously upgraded variant of the Swedish Bofors guns, is scheduled to be inducted into the army by the end of the year. Danish has undergone extensive trials in various conditions, and is now in the final leg of battery trials. 6 guns have been undergoing battery trials since April. Another round of trials is scheduled in Pokhran this month. All trials are expected to be completed by July, after which it would be ready for induction into the Army, a senior ordnance factory board, OFB, official told The Hindu. Danish is an upgraded version, based on the original design of the Swedish 155mm Bofors howitzers, which India procured in the mid-1980s. It is a 155mm, 45 caliber gun with a maximum range of 40 km in salvo mode, compared to the 39 caliber, 27 km range of the original guns. OFB officials said it was 80% indigenous, and is manufactured by the Ordnance Factory in Jabalpur. The National Investigation Agency, NIA, on Saturday carried out searches at 14 places in Kashmir and 8 places in Delhi, in connection with terror funding received from Pakistan for carrying out subversive activities in the valley. The NIA, which had earlier registered a preliminary inquiry, and converted it into a regular case, RC, last evening, began searches in the wee hours at the residences of second-rung separatist leaders in the valley. Around 8 Hawala dealers and traders in the national capital were also raided, official sources said. Among those raided were close aides and kins of hardline separatist Syed Ali Shah Gilani and others in the Hurriyat Conference. 2 places in Sonpat were also being searched by the NIA teams in this connection. The maker of the F-35S engine says it can provide an engine that uses less fuel to create more thrust, improving the performance of the multinational jet fighter. The company, Pratt & Whitney, claims it can deliver the engine by the early 2020s if the Pentagon and participating countries pay for its development. The engine, tentatively called F-135 Growth Option 1, builds upon the original F-135 engine with technology gathered from Navy and Air Force programs. The engine would be a drop-in fit for all 3 variants of the F-35, the Air Force's F-35A, the Navy's carrier-borne F-35C, and the Marine Corps' vertical takeoff and landing F-35B. According to Defense News, the improved engine could improve thrust by up to 10% and reduce fuel consumption by up to 6%. An increase in thrust could help make the plane be a better dogfighter and respond quicker to new threats, while reduced fuel consumption would increase the jet's range. The F-35A has a range of 1,200 nautical miles with internal fuel, the F-35B has a range of 900 nautical miles, and the F-35C has a range of 1,400 nautical miles. A 6% decrease in fuel consumption could add up to an extra 72 miles to the F-35A's range. Pratt & Whitney says Growth Option 1 would also be cost neutral, meaning that if it is developed, it would cost about the same as the existing F-35 engine. Development costs, however, would be shared by Washington and other partners in the program such as the Netherlands, Norway, Turkey, the United Kingdom, Japan, and others. Iskandari, the second of the 6 Skorpeni-class submarines, has sailed out from Mumbai harbour for its maiden sea sortie, in a step closer to its induction into the Indian Navy. The submarine will now be put through a rigorous set of trials. A senior Navy official said Iskandari sailed out for her maiden sea sortie yesterday and that it was the first major trial for her propulsion plant. The successful trial moved the submarine a significant step closer to her induction into the Indian Navy later this year. She will now be put through her paces via a rigorous set of trials, which are designed to test her operating envelope to the maximum, the official said. The first Skorpeni, INS Calvary, is currently being readied for delivery in July or August, after having been put through a grueling set of trials over the past 1 year, including successful missile and torpedo firings. Named after ferocious deep-sea predators, the Skorpenis, which operate very silently and are capable of multifarious roles, will add teeth to the might of the Indian Navy. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this news. Please share your views in comment box. Please like and share this video. Press subscribe button and bell for auto update to you regarding my channel World Action and Reaction News. Warn.